It's a semi-arid, 6 inches of rain, but it's very green because of irrigation from the Rosa project. I love it. I still go back a lot. That's probably where I'll go from, when it's time to hang up the tennis from life. My folks are buried there. I never grew up. I think only 1 or 2 years out of necessity we lived in town. But my dad was a farmer, and when I was between up to the age of maybe 3, we lived in Yakima on a farm by the airport, and then my dad got another farm over there in Yost Road, which is in the foothills on the southern part of Toppenish, and still about 7 miles from the town of Toppenish. And the nearest neighbor was a mile away, the Hardball. He was from the Quinault Reservation. I remember my dad, when he would kill a cow, he'd say, "Go down there, tell the neighbor to come get his piece." So I walked down there with my dog, a mile down the road. "Hey, my dad says, come get your piece," and then I walked back with my dog. I liked it overall. To this day, I really liked it. I've always lived on that country. Until after I graduated from college and I moved into town. But man, I tell you, that's a place to grow your kids. It's a much slower pace. And in those days, I think that's what helped me with my education. We didn't have a TV till I was a senior in high school. I didn't participate in much of anything other than sports. And I understand this is a great thing. It's coming like full circle. This is like, you say, oral history. My dad was a storyteller. And in the winter, we had that wood-burning stove, and that was the only source of heat, and it was in the kitchen. But winters in those days are different from winters nowadays. In those days, you would get snow Thanksgiving or right directly after Thanksgiving, and it would come up to here, and it would be like that till February, and then temperatures 15 degrees, 17 degrees. That was common, no biggie. But we were used to it. But at nights, we would just sit around that stove, and my dad would tell stories. He would tell good stories. And I learned a lot of words. My dad, nowadays you go to a dictionary and you look for the definition of a word. I would ask my dad. He wouldn't just give me the meaning of the word. He would tell me a story to reinforce, the thing. It's just like, and not only he was recognized as a storyteller because when we were working in crews, as people would, down the road, back the road, from sunrise to sunset, it's boring. But people would say, "Hey, Don Pedrito, cuéntenos una, échese una." And my dad would be telling stories all day, and that was what made it interesting, And so I come from an oral history, like that, and I try to pass it on to my kids, and they always take it differently. And nowadays, I guess I have to pass it on, but I have to pass it on as a chiste, and I'm pretty good at that.